Welcome,
Welcome.
everybody!
Not everybody.
Me.
Just that one. Just at least the 5 people that we like.
Welcome, Ryan, to another episode of the Geek Dad Report. Episode 178 to be exact. The one show dedicated, formulated, specially created, and to bring you guys all the nerd news you need to know, and all while putting a little smile on your faces. I'm Brian, the hostess with the absolute mostest.
And I'm Ryan, the also host, but I don't have the mostest. I have an adequate amount.
You have, well, you know, I know something you do have, Ryan.
What's that, Brian?
I know that you do have knowledge of Avengers Endgame because you finally saw it, you freaking loser. Took 17 weeks, but you have seen Avengers Endgame.
And I went to a movie theater that served beer, so I drank a bunch of beer.
Oh, man.
And I didn't have to go pee in the middle.
Well,
so
do you remember the movie then? I mean, maybe you don't have the information about the movie.
I remember everything that I was able to see, except for there were some scenes where it was a little hard for me, but...
Well, without giving too many spoilers for the 7 people who still haven't seen it, what'd you think? Did you like it?
I think that...
I mean, was it okay? Was it alright? Just alright?
Say spoiler stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My son thoroughly enjoyed it. And we talked about it for probably 3 straight days after we saw it. Because he would come up, oh, Dad, I forgot to ask you about this one part.
Well, whatever. So you can go ahead and give spoilers. I don't really care. Spoiler alert, everybody. In this episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
So.
If you waited longer than me, I mean, you're absolutely, I don't know what to say.
All right, so favorite part.
So
Fat
my
Thor.
favorite parts were getting to see the
Fat
Blue Hulk.
Thor. Fat Thor. I love
Fat Thor. Yeah, Fat Thor is. I am going to 100% be Fat Thor for Halloween.
Everybody's going to be Fat Thor for Halloween.
There's going to be at least 1,000 50-year-old males that are going to.
All you've got to do is get a battle axe and dress up like the dude, and you'll be Fat Thor.
You know, that's when at the theater. When we first saw it, the guys that we were with, he leaned over. He's like, "It's the Big Lebowski."
Dude, that's what he looks like. The whole first half of that movie, it looks like the Big Lebowski.
Yeah,
dude, I want to get. They got a Funko coming out, I think in November. They've got Fat Thor with Mjolnir and Stormbreaker.
Yeah, that was also a good part when he put out his hand and he closed his eyes.
And his mom's like, "Oh, this can take a minute."
That was all he wanted.
Dude, that scene with his mom was epic. When she's like, "And for the love of everything, eat a salad." I was like, ah. His own mom was fat shaming him.
Well, and they liked the whole Fortnite stuff.
Yeah, that was great.
So
you know what I like too is I like how they really committed to the bit of Fat Thor. Like, he wasn't just fat for 20 minutes. He was fat for literally the entire movie.
Yeah, no, it would have been. Yeah, it would have been like.
So, did you expect him?
He does a couple push-ups and he just goes like.
Yeah.
Did you? He's like.
I fully expected him when he got Mjolnir and called the Thunder and he got his armor that it was he was gonna be transformed into skinny Thor. Yeah. And I like that they didn't. They just expanded his armor. He was still Fat Thor.
Yeah, eat less carbs, and you gotta do some more workouts.
Just drink. No, screw that. I want Fat Thor's life. Just sitting around playing Fortnite, drinking beer all day. What a great life.
With your 2 buddies, with your 2 housemates.
Oh my god, the fact that they had Korg and Meek just sitting there, Meek is eating pizza, and Korg's like, oh, he's back on. And then he's like, give me that. He puts it on. He's like, I'm Thor, God of Thunder. I will come down into your mother's basement and I will kill you.
So good.
Yeah, it's such a great thing.
But I loved that scene. I loved seeing the new Hulk, Big Brainy Hulk.
I wasn't as big of a fan of Brainy Hulk. I like Smash 'em Hulk.
You like just angry Smash 'em Hulk?
No, I think my favorite Hulk is probably Thor Ragnarok, where he's a little smart, but he's not,
Yeah. And he just walks around naked.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, there were some great moments in this, when he's like, they're like, dude, you got to do your Smash thing. He's like, oh yeah, that's right. He's like, so angry. And we did get a little bit of old Hulk, when they're jumping through time, and he's like, "Stupid stairs!" And he like kicks the door. He's so bad. He's like, "So many stairs." So I mean, yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah. Well, and I did like when they were trying to do the time travel stuff for the first time with Ant-Man.
When he was a baby. Yeah. No, there's some good gags. Do you see what I was saying? Like, it's as a standalone Avengers, I don't know if it's to me, it's probably the worst just standalone Avengers, but as a cap, as a cap to all the 22 movies, it's absolutely perfect.
Oh yeah. That's exactly the best way to put it.
Yeah, I mean and there's so many. I will say this too. Obviously, I know it was. I give you shit. I know it was difficult for you to get out to see it the first time, but if you can see it again, it's worth. I actually thought it was better the second time I saw it because there's so many things that you pick up that you didn't pick up the first time. Mm-hmm. Just because you know what's coming now, so you're not trying to. Your brain isn't trying to figure it out. You just kind of sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah,
and process everything.
I'm definitely going to try to see it again, but I think it's most likely that it will just be I'll be picking it up on digital the second it drops.
Yeah, no doubt. All I can say is that's America's ass as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
that is America's ass. That's great. But anyway, all right. Well, I'm glad that you've seen the movie. We can now talk about it freely throughout this episode. We have a couple questions from the Faithful 50. One from David in particular. He was very angry last week that we did not answer it. I told him we couldn't because you had not seen the movie. I'm not gonna show you what he told me I should do about that, but we're just going to we'll answer it tonight, David. So if you're watching, you're gonna get your question answered.
Yeah, we just had to stall it for a little bit.
And by we, Ryan means himself. So. But we have a lot of stuff for everyone tonight. We got some cool news topics we're going to talk about. We get to just do our favorite thing in the world, which is let the world know how stupid the fan bases are.
Yes, and they are extremely stupid.
They are ratcheting up the stupid. I'd like to say to an all-time high level, but I mean, it's not an all-time high, but it's real stupid. So we're going to talk a lot about dumb fans and expectations. And we got a lot of news stories we're going to cover. We've got some cool questions from the Faithful 50, and we have some recommendations for you guys. I'm going to give you a hint. Mine involves a Pikachu.
And
I think that's how it goes. I don't really watch Pokemon.
Go. And mine involves mud.
Mud. Hopefully it's not mud butt.
Yeah, just MUD mud.
All right, good.
So MU.D.
Yeah, so stick around. We got a lot of fun things, and we're gonna try and blow through them because me and Ryan have an after show we got to record, which is our Game of Thrones season 8, episode 5, The Bells episode. Yeah. And
no controversy. Very low-key episode.
You might as well just call this episode Dracarys because it's going to be hot. There's going to be a lot of hot takes.
We're going to be lighting things up.
We're going to be...
Not marijuana joints.
We're going to be destroying entire cities of theories.
Spoiler.
You like that one?
Yeah.
It's not a spoiler. Nobody even knows a spoiler until you said spoiler.
Nobody knew that was what happened, Brian.
Spoiler, Jon Snow just quit and walked back up to the north.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we've got that. We're going to talk all about the, like I said, the bells. We're going to give some final predictions for the final episode of Game of Thrones, and we're going to talk a lot about that. So, if you have been paying attention, the internet's been on fire. We're going to address a lot of the reason why in our episode. So that will be up tonight as well as this episode. So, enjoy both. But definitely stick around for this episode because we got a lot of fun stuff we're going to do.
Yeah, this is what we're here for, people.
Yes, we're starting. And we're going to do it right now.
Ugh.
I thought you were going to do something. What are you doing? This isn't a water break. We can't both drink water at the same time.
I thought we talked about this, Brian.
No, it only works if I do it to you. You can't do it to me.
Well, I don't see how that works, Brian. What are you doing? We both. I don't think we coordinated that one. That one was
Whatever. Ryan, I ain't got time for you. You know what we got time for? We got time for the King's Landing Fire Chop of Death. Ha! We got the Jakari Dragon Fire of Betrayal Uppercut to the butt area.
And I have the best finishing move, Brian.
I've heard that about
it. It is the Sandor.
Uh-oh.
Not leg sweep, but kind of a leg sweep over a ledge.
I thought it was the Fire Leap.
It was, I guess it was more like a good shove.
A Fire Leap shove.
Yeah, so we're going to finish it off with the Sandor leg sweep and shove.
Let's just say that we're chopping down some mountains.
Yes. How to topple down a mountain.
And why are we throwing all these horrible Game of Thrones puns at you guys? Because our first story involves horrible Game of Thrones people. Not the creators or showrunners, at least in our opinion. We're talking about the fans.
Yes. And quote unquote fandom in general, I think.
I would like to group all these people into one fan group because, I'd like to sleep at night thinking that the same 17 people who hated The Last Jedi are the same people who hate Game of Thrones and hate everything else, but they're not. And I don't want to discard anybody who doesn't feel like they're enjoying the final season of Game of Thrones. That is your right. If you don't like it or you think it's just not what you signed up for, totally cool. No, we're talking about people who have apparently launched a petition. Yes, another petition, Ryan. Petitions!
A petition that always works, Brian.
They always... 100% of the time, they work 0% of the time. A petition to have, Benioff and Weiss thrown off of Game of Thrones and to get rid of all 6 episodes they've already made and the $150 million HBO sunk. They want them to get rid of this and reshoot season 8 with new writers.
New writers? Which is who? The people that signed the petition?
I don't know, because I hear a lot of people complaining, but no one actually saying what they wish it would have done.
Brian, all they need to do is just get into George R. R. Martin's head and rip out the story that he himself can't even fix.
Okay, so we're not going to get into spoilers about what happened in the last episode. We're gonna spoil that in our review, but. I mean, you'd have to be living under a rock to not know exactly what happened, but we won't touch on that. But let's just say that there's a lot of character turns that people are unhappy with if you don't watch Game of Thrones and you're wondering what all this hubbub is about.
They're unhappy, Brian, because they missed every single piece of foreshadowing.
And I've heard some people saying foreshadowing isn't character development, but I'm like, wait a minute, foreshadowing is character development.
Yeah. No, they just want the stuff that makes them feel good and that validates everything that they...
At no point did Anakin Skywalker say, you know what, Padme, I think I'm just going to start killing children because I think that's the right thing to do. No, He's like, if it works, that's called foreshadowing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is clear. Okay, I mean, this is clearly people just mad that their favorite characters are not going in the direction they thought. Like, this was always going to happen, right? Like, nobody was going to be happy with the end of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I mean, like, was I expecting it? No. But was I surprised? No. I mean,
I actually was expecting it to happen. It happened differently than I thought. It just was like, whoa.
It was, yeah. Well, first it was like, oh, man. And then it was like, holy shit, man. And then it was like...
Dude, I'll be honest with you, I was so just in awe of that episode in general. It was so, like, the music was the best it's ever been on Game of Thrones. The action, it was just so, like, it just grabbed you, and I was, like, the whole time, me and my wife were just sitting on the edge of the couch just watching it, just, like, mouth open, just like...
Yeah, and the CGI effects on the whole thing were just...
And then, like, when the
say this really quick.
Yeah.
The CGIs on this episode was freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
But they couldn't have enough CGI in the budget to just have John Pett fucking...
You know what? That is the only debate that I think we should have. That is a travesty. That is the only thing in this episode or season 8 I will not forgive is that there better be another scene with John and Ghost at some point, because if that's how they end, unacceptable.
They can't even pet his ghost.
Drogon can declare genocide on an entire planet, and we could see it in vivid detail. But did you see Aaron Rodgers? I didn't realize he was in the episode till after.
Wait, he was?
Yeah, so if you watch, and I guess this is a time of a spoiler, but if you watch, there's one guy like who runs, and he tries to run down an alleyway. Just one guy peels off from a crowd, runs down an alleyway, and then all of a sudden flames engulf him. That's Aaron Rodgers.
I guess that's a good prelude to the Green Bay Packers season.
Yeah, I think that was it's an analogy for the season. But it's a visual representation of the 2020 Green Bay Packers season. I just, like I said, we're going to talk more about this in our episode, but I will say, I think maybe part of the problem is that Game of Thrones took 2 years off, and I think it really hurt. I think it really ratcheted people's expectations to a level that was never going to happen. And I also think that I think people forgot a lot about this show.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I think they did, and I think all the 2 years did was just give people way too much time to try to build their little sandcastles of what, like, oh, hi, I'm Danny, I'm the greatest, I love everybody, I just want to give hugs.
Well, and I think people really, and this is the thing, this is a testament to, so everybody who says that the showrunners on Game of Thrones are idiots, or just, come on. The fact that people care so much.
If they're big idiots, then why are you still watching it?
Yeah, the fact that people care so much about these characters is a testament to how good of showrunners and writers they actually are. Like, and you know what, George R. Martin gets way too much credit and does not get nearly enough of the blame. I mean, for anybody who's mad about the direction the last few seasons have gone, George R. Martin's books have thousands of characters going in insane directions. That the reason why he can't get these books together is because he has no idea how he's gonna. So George sat down with the showrunners and said, "This is how it ends. Okay, this is how it ends." So everything we're watching right now is from George R. R. Martin himself. He gave them a loose outline of each character, how they meet their maker, however that's gonna happen, right? Whatever happens to each person. This is based off of what George himself told them. The problem is that in the time that George is writing and these guys got the ending, George himself cannot steer these characters back to that ending, which is why the show seems so much different now than it did before, because they are going off of what they said it was in. So they are in a weird position where they cannot write their own ending. They have to write what the book says is going to end. But it's so far away from that in the books and in the source material that they literally had to just corral all their characters, put them on a collision course to get to where they wanted to. Did it always make sense? No. Sometimes there's things you slap your head and go, come on, but...
And that's the reason why the whole Night King storyline is done in 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Because the Night King hasn't even been introduced in the books yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we don't even know if he's going to be, the quote-unquote Night King. I mean,
I don't think George knows, because George cannot get his characters on a collision course.
And let's give George credit where it's due. He is an amazing writer when it comes to characters and the character's point of view and building, a story around. I think you read did you read that tweet?
I saw that about plotting versus. Yeah,
and he's a pantser. He gets on these characters, he gets 100% into it, and he zones in, and so you're sucked into the character and everything that's going on around him. But he's got so much of this stuff going on that he just can't tie it off or just cut it.
Well, and also too, I mean, because by nature of the fact that the show is coming to an end, you're not going to get the same rich development that you got in earlier seasons. Like, for instance, because it's the final season, you're never going to get you're not going to get a Prince Oberyn type character that has all this huge character arc and you really love the character and all this great stuff just so you can kill him right at the end, right? It's just that's not what they're doing now. I mean, think about this. They've killed off, 80% of the characters?
Oh, yeah.
And we still have more characters than we can fit into an episode, right? That is where we're still at. Can you imagine how, everyone says, like, I would have liked to see 10 episodes this season. And I think some of the issues could have been solved last season and this season with, some of the storytelling, some of the, like, the fact that you're in Westeros now, or you're in King's Landing, and you're at Winterfell, and now you're in Dorne in, like, one episode. You could have let that breathe a little bit if last season and this season would have had 10 episodes. But, I mean, that's not what they chose to do, and they chose to get everybody back together. And sometimes to do that, unfortunately, there's story elements that don't necessarily feel like they felt before, right? But it doesn't mean it's a bad show. It just means that they're getting to the end game. They're just trying to get there.
Yeah, I think HBO said that they would have, kept doing it for as long as they wanted to, but this is how long that the showrunners wanted to go. So
yeah. Well,
they thought they could do it. I think they're doing a good job. I mean, if it was slightly rushed, yes, but I mean,
I've never seen. Dude, season 8 to me has been so. I binge watch, and here's my last point on this, and then we can move on. Is I binge watched this entire show with my wife in the weeks leading up to season 8. And I think part of the reason why I'm enjoying season 8 so much is because when you watch it all in a row, it actually lines up really well with the rest of the seasons. And all the little turn, like the big turn we just saw, I watched that unfold over a month, and you could see it coming clear as day, right? It's not... and my wife, she's been watching it. She hasn't had time to process and come up with her own little theories. She's just watching the show for what it is, and she's like, wow, that's actually really good. I mean, there's a few things she doesn't like about the show. We talked last week about the whole, some of the issues with some of the rape stuff on the show and how they've written some of the female characters. She doesn't like some of that, but for the most part, she's loved the show. I mean, she's thought it's great, and she doesn't have the problems with the character turns that other people have had, because I think when you watch it in one big take, it all makes a lot more sense than just taking 2 years off and coming right back to it.
Yeah, that's why I was glad I listened to the Binge Mode podcast, where it helped me get caught up on the first 5 seasons, and then I watched season 6. It's easier to watch one season and then just do like listen to a podcast that was about all.
And I think people forgot that this is the show that gives us They gave us the Red Wedding. The whole point of this show is to shock you.
Yeah, you're not supposed to get attached to anybody.
No, and I think we've forgotten that because the last couple of seasons have a lot of things happen for the good guys and not so much for the bad guys. But
everything is up in the air.
And to be honest, as much as everybody says they wanted 2 or 3 more episodes to let this breathe, can I just say that season 5 and parts of season 6 were terrible. They let them breathe. They gave them 10 episodes, and I was glad that Cersei blew up the Sept at the end, because I never wanted to see a High Scepter again in my entire life. That whole storyline is the worst. It is so boring.
And they barely even touch on that storyline in the books, but for some reason they thought for the show it would, be beneficial to drag that out.
Yeah, and so I think if I had to guess, they looked at those seasons and said, we drug it out. When we revisited this was too much. We didn't need all this. So let's cut it out. Let's spend the money on making these epic episodes and whatever. Yeah, but we're going to talk more about it in our final episode. I don't want to turn this into a Game of Thrones talk, but
easy to do this for another hour.
Yeah,
we're going to do.
But yeah, it gets back to the whole petitions. 30,000 fans signed immediately to get rid of Season 8. People, stop it. It's not going to change anything. Yeah. Season 8 is here. It is what it is. Time to move on.
Yeah, watch it or don't.
Yeah, which leads me into the other thing that people are now currently trying to do is they're trying to get Benioff and Weiss fired from Star Wars. Bob Iger was on some interview with some magazine I've never heard of, like Comics Addict or something. And they asked him, I mean, obviously it must be big. They got the CEO of Disney, so hey. But they asked him flat out whether who's going to be doing the next Star Wars trilogy, whether it's Rian Johnson or whether it's the Game of Thrones guys. And he said, yeah, the Game of Thrones guys, they're writing and directing the next Star Wars movie. I don't know if it's the next 3, but it's the next Star Wars movie that we're getting. And, the timing maybe... I will say this with Disney. I'm very excited for Benioff and Weiss. Like I said, Game of Thrones is probably the best show I've ever seen on television. So And judging from the giant episodes they've done this season and last season, I'm really excited to see what they can do with them with a full length Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I will say bad timing. Maybe look at the fact the internet is currently having a temper tantrum meltdown, and maybe announce this after we watch the last episode, which hopefully will tie everything together and people are much happier. Or maybe even wait a few months.
But I'm going to give them credit for both of my parents are apparently like hardcore Game of Thrones people, and they are like the last people in the world I ever would have thought would be watching a fantasy show. So credit to them.
Yeah, no, I mean, and listen, I'm glad Disney's doing it. I think Disney's smart to bring these guys aboard.
Yeah.
I think they're super talented.
Yeah, they're not doing that Civil War show. So
yeah, I believe that was canceled. I mean, I understand as a concept, it sounds like a cool idea, but it's one of those things when you actually put it to paper, you're like, yeah, maybe this is not what we need right now.
Maybe we shouldn't be doing that at this time of white nationalism.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that might play better as just a book. Maybe you write a novel.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there's a novel out there.
I mean, not like they're not used to people being angry at them though. So yeah, so they're doing the next Star Wars movie. I think it's really cool, and I'm excited to see it. Hopefully, the final episode of Game of Thrones will be really good, and it'll tie everything together, and it'll reveal that Bran is the Lord of Light, like I said all along, and it'll all make sense. I mean, people, think of The Sixth Sense. If you watch the entire movie and then cut the end right before you find out that he sees dead people and that Bruce Willis is dead, that movie is like, what is this movie? This is the most boring, sad movie.
Everyone is going to die, and then George R. R. Martin himself is going to walk down the hallway and sit on the Iron Throne.
I think I do have a theory that whatever happens, and then a meteorite hits Westeros and everyone dies.
That's been my running theory. Don't try and steal my theory.
Nope, I'm swooping in right in the 11th hour, Ryan, and I'm taking your ideas. All right, what do we got here? Let's see here. What other big news do we have this week? Since we're talking about Disney, I guess we'll go into the other big Disney. God, it seems like this show should be called "What's Happening with Disney."
Yes. Well, I mean, when it comes to media entertainment, Disney is the king.
Yeah, Disney is like it right now. There's like nothing else. So I mean, we're gonna filter this under Disney, Hulu, Netflix news, because this all kind of rolls into pretty much the rest of our news for today. So Disney this week. Well, when Disney bought Fox, they got a big, huge stake. I think they took
Fox's. It was 3%.
No, it was 30%.
30% for each of them, and then someone else had 5 or something. But Disney bought those people out too.
Yeah, so Disney has obtained controlling interest in Hulu. Now, Comcast Universal still holds a pretty big share, and I want to say Warner Brothers does too. But apparently the deal that Disney made is that in 5 years they can buy Universal's shares, but yet for the next 5 years. So basically it was a licensing deal. So Universal still gets to be part of Hulu, but Disney is basically paying them to keep their... Well, I think them being part and getting profit from it is they're getting their content for 5 years. So, in essence, Hulu signed another lease deal for 5 more years of Comcast Universal's, their streaming stuff. So, it sounds like everyone's just trying to get time to get their own streaming service. Warner Brothers announced today that they're pulling all their CW stuff off of Netflix. Disney has already announced they're pulling all their Marvel movies off of Netflix. So it sounds like everybody is just trying to get their streaming service up and running. I don't know if apparently Universal, I do like this. So it came out today that Universal, in lieu of the Hulu news, they are going to do their own streaming service, but they're going to do an ad. They're going to basically do another Hulu, so you don't have to pay for Universal streaming service. So they're going to do original content and stuff on it and stream all their things, but it's all going to be with ads.
Oh, that makes sense.
I mean, they'll probably have a premium version where you can pay and get like all the movies without ads and stuff, but I mean, I'm excited that we don't have to pay for yet another streaming service.
Yeah, I'm so glad I could cut my cable bill so I could just start bundling subscription services. Well,
and Warner Brothers right now has they've quietly launched their own streaming service already with the DC Universe app. So my guess is all the DC CW shows will end up on that, and I think over time that app may just get rebranded and turn into a full-fledged Warner Brothers streaming service.
Yeah.
But
Well, it makes sense, I guess.
But we had a lot of people question when we threw up this post. A lot of people were just kind of wondering what this means for them as a subscriber. Right now, I don't think it's going to mean much of anything because everybody's still sticking with all their content on Hulu. Hulu is technically its own company, so they do their own content. Like if you like The Handmaid's Tale, that show's not going away anywhere anytime soon. What this means eventually, will the prices go up? Yeah, probably. But I think right now Disney wants to keep them low. They want to keep it low so people will sign up for their service. They're really big on they want to bundle Hulu and the Disney Plus and ESPN. So I think that's the main reason why they want a controlling stake of this, so they can basically get you Disney Plus is $6, but if you want Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN, it's only $12, right? So
yeah.
They want to get people hooked on their product. This is basically a drug dealer's
Well, yeah, and they're trying to make it so cut your cable, and then all you really need is just the new Disney bundle.
The new Disney bundle and internet, and you'll be good to go. So I mean, it's a pretty smart way to do it. It also means this, but as far as content, so Hulu's already announced that they're partnering up with Marvel for a bunch of projects. Like we're getting the Ghost Rider. There's already the Runaways. We're getting some animated shows that are more adult oriented. My guess is and we talked about this before. We touched on this before. Is that all the adult stuff that Marvel does is going to end up on Hulu. So the Daredevils, the Jessica Jones, those type of shows are going to all be on Hulu. Where the Disney Plus is going to be more of the MCU shows and more family friendly stuff.
Yes, and it makes perfect sense from a business standpoint.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it sounds like a lot of the Fox properties are going to end up on Hulu. So that way Disney can keep their Disney stuff that they own, that people know them for, the Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, and they can put all the Aliens and Predator movies and those kind of shows. They're already apparently working with FX to create some new shows for Hulu. So it sounds like that's where all that stuff is going to stream. All the FX shows, all the adult stuff is going to be on Hulu, and
as long as they keep the Orville around. Then I'm going to be
Orville was just renewed for season 3, Ryan, so good news.
Ooh, can't wait.
I got to start watching that. I think it's currently on Hulu right now, right?
You can watch all of it on Hulu.
All right, I got to check it out. I've heard good things.
I'll give you my password.
All right, well, I've got Hulu. I just gotta watch it.
Okay.
So Netflix. This has been a bad day for Netflix, though. So Disney has now not only announced their new service, it's going to be epic. They now control Hulu, and they're pulling all their Marvel properties away from them. And a poll just came back that like 60% of people who took the survey said that they would cancel their Netflix subscription if they couldn't have access to Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, I think this is why I know we heard last year that Netflix was investing like $10 billion into new IP, and I think we know why now.
Yeah.
One of the new deals they just announced was that they got a first look deal with Dark Horse Comics. This is kind of coming off the heels of the Umbrella Academy, which was a great show.
Oh, amazing show! My wife loved that show, and she's not really into nerdy stuff.
And that was a Dark Horse property. So what else, Ryan? I know you've got it locked and loaded here. What else do you think that we could be getting from Dark Horse? The partnership with Dark Horse and Netflix.
Let's see. So for Netflix, I'm thinking they could do Axe Cop.
I have no idea what Axe Cop is.
It's about a cop that has an axe, and it was drawn by this really good artist. Mm-hmm. And the person that wrote it was his 10-year-old brother.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's from the mind of a 10-year-old.
Oh my God.
It's like an axe.
I will say I think the one problem we could have with Dark Horse, a lot of the good properties, because Dark Horse is a lot of creator-owned stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's already I think like Black Hammer, even though it's done by Dark Horse, I believe is licensed already. So I don't think that would be available to Netflix.
Yeah.
Hellboy.
The Hellboy is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I don't know what their status is for a TV show, but I wonder if we could get like a, what would actually be cool? What's the spinoff from that? Is the PD the
BRPD?
BRPD. That might be a show that Netflix could do that is spun off from the Hellboy universe. That could be really good.
BPRD. That is the
and then like the paranormal, like isn't that the Ryan Reynolds movie that was bad? But
station that Hellboy is a part of.
Yeah, see, I think that would, personally for me, that'd be, if I'm Netflix, that's one I'm talking to and seeing if I can get that done, because you could have like a cop procedural, but it's paranormal in a comic book, based on a comic book.
Yeah. See, they got Dr. McNinja.
Dr. McNinja. I don't know if that's gonna be. Come on, give me some names. Give me some big ones. What do we got?
How about I just went past it. And Usagi, the bunny, the rabbit ninja.
The rabbit who was a big part. Usagi. He was a big part of Ninja Turtles for a while.
All right.
Cool.
Let's see. Lobster Johnson's a good one. That's from the Hellboy series.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of. So I think we'd have to find out what Hellboy, the licensing deal with that is. I bet you they'd probably try and. I mean, I don't know if you could do actual Hellboy on Netflix. It might be too expensive, but.
I mean, it's like for the longest time, it was Hellboy, Conan were kind of like what was holding, in the when they owned the Star Wars. But Marvel got Conan back. They got Star Wars back.
They also got Alien and Predator back. I'm guessing those deals are going to expire with Dark Horse.
Yeah, those deals on for the whole bunch of Aliens and Predator stuff that they had.
The Halo series is already being done at Showtime.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they end up pulling out. 300. I mean, they've already made a movie on that.
Yeah, they have so many licensed. I mean, the bigger original IP, Black Hammer, Hellboy, those ones. Those would be interesting. I wonder what the deal is with them. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure we'll start hearing. We're going to get more Umbrella Corporation. I'm sure we're going to hear our Umbrella Academy. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more soon about things that they're looking at.
We didn't even know about the Umbrella Academy until the Netflix released it, and then we read the comic and we said, "Holy crap, this is a really good comic."
Yeah, this is really good. And then the movie or the TV show was really good too.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure it's going to be something that's just going to kind of blow us away, and then we'll read the comics on it.
Yeah. All right, well, that is the most of the major news. We got a couple smaller stories, and then we got a couple trailers to talk about, so we'll bust out the small stories real fast. Rick and Morty fans, Season 4 has been announced. It's coming out in November 2019. There's another show I need to watch. Everyone just raves about it.
I'm going to watch it sometime.
Yeah, eventually. Stranger Things has a Lego set that you can flip upside down. When you build it, it's the town of Hawkins, and then underneath it is the upside down town of Hawkins. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, whoever was able to design that, kudos.
Yeah. Let's see. Apparently, Mortal Kombat movie is officially happening. There's been a location saying it's going to shoot in Australia in August. So James Wan, I believe, is doing this. So hey, cue the music. Dun 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 dun. Mortal Kombat.
The new one?
No.
Like I saw we went to a party and he was like, "So you want to see the game that that my son purchased on his dad's credit card?"
Was
it
Mortal Kombat 11?
Yeah, the brand new one. And one, don't give your kid access to your credit card.
Yeah, it's a bad move.
Through their Xbox account.
Bad move.
It's like Scorpion, and it's just blood everywhere. It rips the guy's spinal column out, and just it's insane.
Well, hopefully the movie will be just like that. Let's see. Speaking of getting your spinal cord ripped out, Lethal Weapon has been canceled after 3 seasons at Fox.
Oh. I never got around to watching that, though.
It was fun. I mean, it was alright. I enjoyed it, but, I mean, whatever.
Mm.
Let's see. George R. R. Martin says that Gandalf would crush Dumbledore in a battle of wizards. I'm calling shenanigans. I'm Team Dumbledore all the way.
Yeah, I'm going to say George R. R. Martin is not an authority on anything.
And I'm going to say George R. R. Martin, shut the hell up and get back to writing your books.
Yeah, it's been 10 years. Jeez.
And then I think that's about it for news. Slow news week for the most part, other than Disney doing everything. We did get a few new trailers. We got the first trailer for what is this? Black Mirror Season 5. I have not watched Season 1, 2, 3, or 4, but I know people really like this, and the trailer looked cool.
It's going to be sweet.
Yeah. We got the first look trailer for Batman Hush, which looks awesome.
Shh.
It's the it's the next continuation in the ongoing the main DC storyline that they have in animated universe land. But I believe that comes out in August. So the one out right now that me and Ryan are trying to get our hands on to review for everybody is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Batman.
Does it seem like they're doing a lot of animated movies this year? Or is it just me?
No, they got one coming. They got a new one coming out about every 3 months.
But it seems like they're doing it like every 1 or 2 at this point.
Hey, I say give me all of them. I'll watch them.
I'm not complaining, but
yeah, that's what we got. Let's see here. We got the first trailer for Maleficent, Queen of Evil. The sequel to Maleficent.
I still haven't watched the first one.
I don't know, man. It's fine. It's an art. I watched it at home and I was like, man, this is a thing. And I thought nobody else liked it. Apparently I was wrong. People apparently love that movie. I mean, it's weird. They turned Maleficent from an evil witch into kind of a good character. But then this trailer looks like she's going back to... I mean, it's called Mistress of Evil. And it looks like she's going full-blown evil again. I don't really know. Whatever.
Well, I look forward to seeing the petitions getting signed about her
There'll be no petitions.
Taking a dark turn that nobody saw coming.
Petition! Let's see. We got... Yeah, no shit, right? We got Lobo. We got our first... we got another new trailer for Krypton, which comes back May 10th. We got our first real good look at Lobo in action. I'm really excited for Krypton to come back.
Love Krypton.
And finally, Ryan's favorite movie, the sequel's coming soon. We got our first trailer for It, Chapter 2. And it looks scary.
No.
It looks so scary, in fact, that Ryan is reverting to his inner child form and crying like a big baby.
I was creeped out just watching the first It trailer.
Dude, that movie wasn't even that scary. It had some creepy moments, but for the most part, it was just kind of like Stranger Things.
I watched the trailer. I'm not going to watch the movie. I just don't like creepy...
You're such a weenie.
About... I mean, I read the book. The book was hard enough for me as a kid. I can't relive all that, Brian.
Alright, whatever. Well, I plan on reliving it. I'm really excited to go see it. Me and the wife are already planning a date night.
Well, your wife was like way into that stuff. So
I'm not way into it. She likes other stuff. We're going to see John Wick. We got a date night this weekend. We're going to go see John Wick 3. Because John Wick's the man.
Oh, I forgot that was coming out this weekend.
Comes out tomorrow.
Oh.
I'm sure you'll be excited to see it in 17 weeks.
Oh, yes. When it comes out on digital. Yeah.
You are the worst. And that is it. That is all the news we got for everybody. Woo!
Woo!
What's
it's
next?
not our fault.
What else do we have? From the Faithful 50?
From the Faithful 2.
From the Faithful 1.5.
Oh, so is he... Okay, yeah. I can tell who the half is. So every week on our Facebook page, I put up a post and ask you guys for some questions, and we will answer everything that is given to us, and it doesn't matter what question it is that you are about to hear. So
ask Ryan for his personal bank account number, and he will tell you.
Yes, or I might just push a random string of numbers. So, first question from Jeff. Loyal Jeff. He wants to know, what are some of your favorite smells? And he says he loves fresh cut lawn. And opening one of those 5-pound tubs of red vine licorice. I gotta say, the fresh licorice vine smell, that's really good. But what about you, Brian? What is your favorite?
Nothing beats the smell of fresh baked cookies. Any kind of cookie, freshly baked.
You know, this might be a weird one, but I really like the smell of fireworks.
That's not weird. I know people who like fireworks.
Why? It's like that sulfury kind of.
You're probably the same kind of guy who likes the smell of farts. You know what I liked? I like the smell. I don't like to eat as much because they're super sweet, but the smell of them is just amazing. Cinnabon. When you smell Cinnabon, you're just like,
Ooh.
oh.
I'm trying to think of non-food smells.
Apple pie. All mine are food smells. All right, so non-food smells. I mean, fresh cut grass is a good one.
Yes. I like the smell of what? My wife's
brand new car smell.
Did it really have a smell, I guess?
Yeah, brand new car smell is the best, dude. I was servicing this place that had a whole bunch of like 30 brand new cars, and they were all open and they were cleaning them out, and the whole garage smelled like brand new car, and I was like,
I like the smell of Rainier cherries.
I like the smell of the Caribbean Ocean.
I don't know if it's really a smell, but like just because I miss Seattle weather, like when you get a nice good rain and you walk outside and you take a big like whiff of air and it's like nice and fresh smelling, like
that's kind of nice.
Cleansing rain.
Right before it's about to rain, and you're like, or right like after it's just lightly rained.
Yeah,
it's kind of a clean feeling. Fresh. I know Joe Biden likes the smell of people's heads.
Yes, he currently working on that, Brian.
Probably likes the smell of burnt hair. There you go. So there's a few of my favorite smells.
Yeah.
Smell of a good cigar. Ooh, a smell of a good scotch.
Yeah. I like a good chocolate.
We said no foods. What's wrong with you?
Scotch. Well, I guess scotch is not a food.
Nope. Technically, it's a poison.
A good hoppy beer is always a good smell.
Oh. Some little vanilla tones.
All right, so let's go with the half question. We're gonna go with Chris from Washington. Wants to know: is it unhealthy to binge watch shows about serial CEREAL killers on Netflix? Asking for a friend.
I mean, I don't know. Lucky Charms can be a motherfucker, so sometimes you just gotta murder it. So I think depends if you're doing research, like how can you eat as much cereal as humanly possible, then I think it's fine.
Yeah, and Captain Crunch is he's just a privateer. I mean,
he's a goddamn pirate. He's stealing shit.
Under any kind of like official flag. So he's just out there just murdering,
I'm sure the trading companies are still looking for him.
Yeah, Tony the Tiger has mauled, a lot of people.
A lot of children. Count Chocula is literally a vampire.
Yeah. Toucan Sam, I mean, he murdered people with that giant nose of his.
That bird is way too smart for his own good.
Yeah, and don't even get started on Pop or Crackle. Oh, shoot.
Oh, those three little trolls. Little
Snap,
elves.
Crackle, Pop. The little elves.
Yeah, those guys are clearly up to no good.
Yeah,
clearly.
They tried to pull some big heist. And
they
one of them murdered.
They clearly all work for the evil overlord Diabetes. So I say murder them all personally.
Yeah,
I would say that it's weird if you don't figure out ways to murder all the cereal.
If you had to pick one cereal to murder all by yourself by putting it into your mouth, which one would that be?
Would you have like milk dripping down the side of your face?
Yeah, I'm talking about like you just pour it all in a bowl and you just put a bunch of milk and you don't use no.
I don't even eat cereal. If I had to kill like one cereal. I'm kind of a sucker for Lucky Charms. I've always liked Lucky Charms, but I really like was it not?
I'm just gonna say Captain Crunch, even though it will destroy the roof of your mouth.
Yeah, I can't do that. What's not cinnamon? What's not Cinnamon Toast Crunch? But what's the other one? Like cinnamon something.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
No, the other one.
Cinnamon swirls or something? I don't know.
It's whatever. I can't remember. I'll just say Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's good shit.
Yeah. I'm going to say Captain Crunch.
There you go. All right. And if you're talking about, and Chris, if you're not talking about breakfast cereal and you're talking about like murderers, yes, there is something wrong with you. You're a psycho.
Yeah.
I will say that new Ted Bundy one's pretty good, though.
I got to watch that one.
We'll talk about that on a later show.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for your question, Chris. We also had a question last week, like we mentioned earlier in the show, from David that we could not answer last week, so we're going to answer it real quick tonight.
Yes. Thank you, David, for the pre-week question.
And no, David, you need just to be patient. I'm not going to get rid of Ryan. Sorry. He would like to know, he posted an article, and he wanted to know our thoughts on it. He posted an article about, did Avengers Endgame introduce a whole new generation of heroes? And he wanted to know our thoughts on it, and how likely are we to see these characters become the young Avengers. So, obviously this is an Avenger spoiler, so if you haven't watched it, well, tough shit. We got Hawkeye's daughter, who he was clearly training to be the next Hawkeye. We had Tony Stark's daughter, who is a little young in this. I mean, was she like 5 or 6 maybe?
Yeah, that'd be a little young to start fighting crime.
So they would have to do they would have to do a time jump. Oh, hey, side note, one little plot hole that they didn't address and people were wondering is how weird is it? So in Avengers Endgame, they bring everybody back, but 5 years later, what happened to all the spouses who moved on?
Yeah.
What if Hawkeye was had a new wife on the side?
Yeah. He's just like, all right.
Good luck with that. So good luck answering that question, Marvel. That sounds all real sad and depressing. We got
turned Molgener, by the way. He took it from the past and never brought it back.
Yeah, we find out now that Captain America has kids, and who knows, he might have grandkids. So I mean, are we going to get the young Avengers? I definitely think that's a direction that we could be going. Thor clearly handed, the kingdom to Valkyrie, so you could see Valkyrie maybe be the new Thor. I pitched...
I have a gut feeling this is going to be a lot more cosmic for the next big phase.
Yeah.
Think they're like, Earth is boring and it sucks.
Well, I think we're going to get... So, do I think we're going to get Young Avengers? Yes. To Ryan's point, we're going cosmic next. I don't think we're going to get it for a while. I think we're going to get some of these younger characters in their own TV shows. I mean, the Hawkeye series is about him, and I'm guessing his daughter, or him training a new Hawkeye. So, I pitched an idea that I think would be awesome, and this is what I think could really happen. We could see, so we're going into Marvel Phase 4. I could see the start of Phase 5. We get a new Iron Man movie where his daughter now is a teenager or a young adult, maybe in her 20s, and she takes on the new mantle of Tony Stark, of Iron Man, and Robert Downey Jr. reprises his role as Tony Stark to play the new Jarvis in her suit.
Like in her suit?
How cool would that be?
That would be very Tony Stark of him.
We could easily find out that Tony Stark had imprinted his own brain and uploaded it into the mainframe. And that would be very Tony Stark of him.
You can never... You can't put anything past Tony Stark. So
that way you could bring him back and he could be a big part, but not even be the main character. So I think that would be awesome. And I want to see that movie right now.
Yeah, and Spider-Man would be like 30 by that time. So
yeah. Well, Miles Morales by that point.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Technically we could, because Spider-Man's been gone for 5 years. Maybe Miles decided to pick up the mantle.
It's Donald Glover.
Yeah, now Donald Glover plays Miles Morales' uncle in the Homecoming. So, all right, so that is all the questions we got. Thank you, David, for your question. Hopefully it was worth the 2-week wait. Next time, just buy Ryan an Uber and a ticket to a movie, and he'll go see it.
Yeah, we'll try.
All right. Well, before we get out of here and go record our Game of Thrones episode, we got a couple of weekly recommendations. We got a couple of weekly
recommendations.
We got weekly recommendations. Ryan, would you like to go first?
Yes. So I said earlier that my recommendation involves a MUD, which is a multi-user dungeon. It came up.
Is that like a sex thing, like an S&M thing?
No, it is a online MMO multiplayer game.
All right.
But it is all base. It's all text. There's no graphics, and you type in "go north" to go, north and attack.
So it's like a command prompt game.
It's essentially command prompt, the video game. But my son was asking me, what kind of game did I play when I was his age, and he's 11. and I said, I played this MMO, and it was a lot of fun. It was super big for what we had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh, what was that like?" And I'm like, "All right, well, we just like pulled it up, just Googled it." And like, "Oh, it's because I remember I played it a few years ago. Like, oh, it's still around, but I didn't want to pay for a user account or anything like that. No one's going to pay a subscription fee, but they have a new free thing." So we got on Gemstone 4, made a new character, and he's like, "Oh, this looks cool," just kind of like going around the town showing him stuff. And so he like runs upstairs and he hops, like he puts in, like he makes his own like free account. And the next thing I know, like his guy just comes like strolling into the room. And so we just grouped up and went and killed some rats. And he's died like 6 times because he keeps wanting to try, like he wants like, okay, let's go try something harder. Like this is, I'm tired of like killing rats. So we're gonna like try something harder, and it just like hacks this guy to pieces because
dies immediately.
That's slow. So, and part of the game is like you gotta attack, and then you gotta change your stance to like defensive stances, so that when they attack you, you're not gonna get hit. So I'm just like changing my stances really quick, but I don't think he's doing it. So his guy's like, it's like you get chopped and you lose your leg. Like his guy like had like one leg got like chopped off, and then like he fell to the ground. I'm like, no. But because he's so low level, it doesn't matter if you die at the very beginning.
Yeah.
There's no like repercussions or anything. But he's just getting murdered by like because he's like, oh, I'm tired of this easy stuff. Let's go do some hard stuff. Like, all right, and so we're like leave the town, and then he just gets murdered. But
that's funny.
We've been having a lot of fun with it. So it's been really nice.
Those old games build character.
Yes. So old games build character, and also it's just fun. So I don't expect a lot of people to jump on and try and play, a text-based game. But Gemstone 4, it's good. Just try the free trial, just dig around a little bit. So
yeah, my youngest has been playing Super Mario Brothers, and she just keeps dying and dying on the Super Nintendo. She just gets madder and madder. But this week she finally got past Koopa on level 1, and you would have thought that she won $1 million because she was going through this house like, yeah, woo! Yeah. And I'm like, you know what?
What's fun for him is that we're doing it together. And so I think that's what really kind of makes it a lot more fun. So if you have a game that you can play with them.
What I was going to say is nobody gets that response because you got to level 60 on Fruit Ninja.
Yeah.
There's something about the older games that challenge you in a way that these new games just do not.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, check it out. All right, my recommendation this week is I'll keep it quick and to the point. I took my children and went and saw Detective Pikachu. I know nothing about Pokemon. I graduated, like Pokemon became big a couple years after I graduated. There was like a 3-year period where the only nerd things I did was play video games while drunk and watch Star Wars. Other than that, everything else was, I ain't got time for this. So I totally missed the whole Pokemon craze. So I know the basics of Pokemon, like you got to catch them and train them and fight them, which sounds pretty terrible, honestly. Like, oh, you're going to go catch this free-ranging animal, and then you're going to train it to fight other animals. And if you lose,
into a tiny ball.
Yeah, you have to live in a small red and white ball, and if you lose, you have to go live with this other person. What is this? And I know there's they're all cute, adorable. They don't speak except for they say their own names. And Pikachu is yellow and shoots lightning. So that is my knowledge of Pokemon. I know it's based on a card game that was a TV show and stuff, but I just didn't watch it. I've never played the game. But my girls, they're super into Pokemon cards right now, and they know all the characters. And they really want to see this, so I was like, all right, you know what? I always drag them to all the movies I want to see. I remember being a kid and making my parents go see some, like, Masters of the Universe, some just terrible shit. So I was like, all right. So I went and took them to go see this, and you know what? I was pleasantly surprised. Is it a good movie? Absolutely not. The second half of this movie is one of the most ludicrous plots I've ever seen in my life. Like, it is Super Mario Brothers level of insanity. For what they want to try and do at the end of this movie. Which is really weird because the first part of the movie is kind of like a detective noir thing and it plays pretty good. And then it just turns into this ridiculous action craziness. But it's a lot of fun. The characters are all, I will say this, the Pokemon are all super cute. and I didn't know any of them. Now, what was cool is there was so many kids in the theater that whenever a new one would come on, they would scream out the name, so I knew all the Pokemon as I'm watching the movie. But, I don't know. It was fun. It was honestly, would I watch it by myself in a theater? Probably not. But it was, my kids loved it. They really enjoyed it. It's only like an hour and 40 minutes, so it goes by really fast. If you're looking to take your kids to see a movie that they'll love and that you'll enjoy, Detective Pikachu is perfectly acceptable afternoon in the theater. There's some genuinely funny jokes. Ryan Reynolds is great as Detective Pikachu, and the acting is surprisingly really good. It kind of saves this movie. It keeps it from being just a craptastic movie. It's actually pretty good. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And you don't need to know anything about Pokemon to enjoy this movie. They do a good job of laying everything out enough for you so that you can follow along even if you're completely, oblivious to this universe. So.
Yeah, my 11-year-old son went and saw it. He's obsessed with Pokemon. He said it was all right, but he said it did feel a little kiddie to him. So
yeah, there's not nearly enough battles. As I'm getting into this movie, I really just want to watch these guys fight, these Pokemon fight each other because they got pretty badass powers. Honestly, there's like dragons and all kinds of stuff. But so I want to see a little more of that. It was light on that, but it was fine. I don't know. I enjoyed the movie. Younger kids would probably want to go see this. If your kid wants to go see it, it's worth it. Go see it.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
There we go.
Detective Pikachu. All right, and I think that is the show, Ryan.
Woo!
We got to get the hell out of here so we can go record some Dragon Ball, some Game of Thrones, some Dragon Ball Super reviews. That's a great show too. Some Game of Thrones stuff. So before we get out of here, Ryan, would you like to tell everyone where they could find us?
Yes, you can find us on YouTube at the Geek Dad Report, Twitter at the Geek Dad Report, and Brian is Brian West 53, and I am Big Bruiser. We are on Facebook at the Geek Dad Report, and we are on iTunes. So make sure you give us a 5-star rating, and then leave a comment and a subscription, and a like, and a thumbs up, and a heart, and I think that's all the stuff that you can basically do on social media. And follow us on Facebook. So, and then tell, not 5 of your friends, but 50 of your friends. Like, every single friend that you have, steal their phones, and then subscribe on our channels. That was a very good job, Brian.
That? There we go.
You played the part perfectly.
Woohoo! I feel like it's like acting class 101. All right, I think that'll do it. Unless you got something else you want to add.
No.
All right, well then, thanks for joining us. Until next time, everyone. Oh, actually, that's a good note. There will be no next time next week. We're because of the holiday Memorial Day coming up, I'm going to be out of town. So we're just going to be recording our season finale review of Game of Thrones. Series finale review of Game of Thrones. So we'll have that up next week, but no new show. We'll try and put together some other Faithful 50 stuff and stuff like that. But until that time, everyone, stay awesome.
And stay nerdy, everyone.
Pikachu!